But we are having another meeting next week, right, on the 9th?
Zoom meeting for the chief
Gotcha,
piece of the budget.
gotcha, and that's Zoom.
Yeah, and we have to schedule another hearing.
Yes.
Okay, that's why I'm confused.
Thank you, Matt. Good evening once again. This is the Mayor and Town Council workshop session on April 2nd, 2024, and we are following up our budget meeting, and we are reconvening this meeting at 7:22 p.m. And have you received any public comments, any emails? None? Negative? Okay. All right, so with that, I'm just going to quickly read the upcoming events, which is this Saturday, April 6th, from 9 to 10 a.m. and 12 to 1 at Bartlett Park. We have native garden maintenance. You do? Yes. And also Saturday, April 6th, racial equity, and that is 10 a.m. then to 12 p.m. Saturday, April 20th, annual Green Team Earth Day cleanup with the Anacostia Water Society. Saturday, April 27th is the 10th annual Arbor Day with the tree planting and native plant swap with the Tree Committee and the Native Plant Network. Yeah, I would say I'm gonna miss April 20. Not really. I've been doing it for 10 years.
You're still gonna have to come down and help us. You'll be a resident.
No, I will be, well, not for this year. I will be in the other side of the world. So
You'll be cleaning up over there.
I will be cleaning over there, yeah. But, oh, God, I'm not going to participate this year. Wow. Woo. But I have Lauren taking the lead on this one. So with that, I'm going to introduce Prince George's County Department of Environment. This is a presentation in regards to a nuisance flooding blitz. Welcome.
There, did you, you have the slide presentation on,
Yes.
We do. We've been having some video issues. So while I do have it, you may or may not be able to show it.
oh, you do? Oh, okay, all right. So will the residents who are viewing this virtually see the presentation, or it's just not gonna show up? We can just start talking and
Well,
tell you what everything's about.
Well, give us a second. We've been having, and this is the grant.
Can we good to go?
I have it fixed. If you ever that. Okay.
Okay. It's been fixed. Yay.
All right. And this is the.
This is not the grant.
This is not the grant.
It's a program, county
Would
program.
you put that in? Is that in the folder?
I'm not sure what it's called.
I don't either.
Free landscape.
Free landscape. That's right. Yeah, grant and uses. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's the right thing.
It's,
I don't think this is it.
that's it, what he has on his screen, with the gentleman here.
What is it?
Same thing.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
It's stormwater blitz.
The nuisance flooding.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, my apologies. Then yes, we do have it. My apologies. My apologies. We do have it. I am sharing the screen now, and it should be up in a second.
Great.
What's Mr. Carl?
Oh, yeah, that'll be, yeah, and then I'll
There
turn
you
it
go.
on. Okay,
I'm gonna blow it up a little bit. And
okay.
Do you need one of the handouts?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you need one of the handouts?
No, because what'll happen here is I'm just gonna basically introduce our nonprofit partner, the Low Impact Development Center, and just give you a bit of backdrop about the program. Well, thank you, first of all, for the opportunity to present to the council, the mayor, and the administrative staff in Brentwood. My name is Mary Abe. I'm the Deputy Associate Director in the Sustainability Division in the Department of the Environment. One of the things that we do is we work very closely now with the Rain Check Rebate and the Stewardship Grant that is offered through Prince George's County. You might know that better through the Chesapeake Bay Trust. Chesapeake Bay Trust is actually our administrator, but those are actual county funds that are rolled out and provided to the community. They also administer our rain check rebate, so that if you were to ever have gone for a rebate, you would go through Chesapeake Bay Trust, but in fact, it is a Prince George's County government rebate. So the long and short of it is that though the rain check rebate has been popular, we feel that there's a lot of barriers to participation, and one of those barriers are financial, because the way the program currently exists, you'd have to front the money and then you get reimbursed for what you put into your house. And for some people that's not an issue, but for a lot of people it is an issue. But what this is really about is about the acknowledgement that what happens on your property has a great deal of impact on the greater community. It's not just your house, it's all the houses in tandem. And so what we tried to do with this program, we put a request for proposals out through our stewardship program, and LIDC and Alliance for the Chesapeake answered our request for proposal to concentrate on specific communities that we will be doing modeling on to decide where do we need to reduce volume into the system so that we can reduce downstream flooding. Now, I want to be really, really careful about what I'm saying, because it's not that these practices will take care of your flooding problems. They will reduce nuisance flooding. And what does that mean? That means the things that happen almost on a daily basis when it rains. Because these practices are not intended to be full-scale blown stormwater management practices that could really take on a large-scale stormwater problem. But when done in mass, they will make a difference in the overall community by reducing the amount of water that is coming from your property. And what this is about, it's about a land cover change. So it's about saying, okay, if I have a part of my driveway that I really don't use, this program will pay to remove it at no cost to the homeowner and replace it with something like conservation landscaping, which absorbs the water. Or we will come and the nonprofit will come and do a no-cost audit of your house and suggest certain practices. We'll know what we're trying to achieve on that particular property, and we will install it at no cost to the homeowner. So there is a cap limit on this, but what we're trying to do are two things. The first is to show that if you do enough of something, you can start to address a nuisance flooding problem. And the other thing that it will do, it will provide a place where people can come to within a community and they can look at the practices in one block and say, oh my gosh, that's a rain garden. That's conservation landscaping. Oh, this is for this and this is for that. So it's a really great way of showing what you can do to make a difference, because the reality is our climate is changing. I noticed in your agenda, you're putting together a climate action plan. Kudos for you for working to do that. But it's happening. Climate is here. And though these practices seem really small, when done at a community scale in multiple places, they can and will make a difference. And so this is the first of what we hope will be a new way that we use this program throughout the county, that we blitz an area and we come in and we do a bunch of practices so that the community participates. And then we're going to try to find a larger project which the county will help support, be it through grants and working with the town, that will make a significant, hopefully, change in a drainage problem or a flood problem. So the two things in tandem will work together to hopefully create a community-wide solution. So that's kind of the subject of the pilot. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Claire.
And I'm not sure if you all had our PowerPoint slides, but if not, this was a great introduction anyway, and I can.
They do.
Okay.
Did you send those two? I don't see that one. Is that correct? Give me a second.
I do have it on a flash drive
I
too,
meant
if
to know,
needed.
yeah. Your other presentation.
So that is called the CBT Grant Brentwood North Brentwood.
Pilot slide.
Pilot slide.
Yeah.
council.
Oh, yeah, okay. I do have that. Give me 1 second.
So it's their grant, not our grant.
Understood.
Not the grants.
Yes, for clarity on that, the county provided a grant to LABC to do this work of this program,
Right.
but it is a grant for them.
And there you go.
Great, thank you.
Should be coming up any minute.
Just a quick question. Do you have this flyer in Spanish?
That is on its way. We are currently translating our materials, and we should have those in Spanish as well. Yes. So thank you again, Mary, for a great introduction. This is the Nuisance Flooding Blitz. My name is Blair Danes. I'm a landscape designer and environmental planner at the Low Impact Development Center. I'm also the lead for this project. We're very excited to get it started, and we thank Prince George's County Department of Environment for the funding for this project. So to go into a program overview, Mary provided a great introduction, so I won't go as deeply in, but we are trying to engage the towns of Brentwood and North Brentwood, as well as the areas that drain to them, and that's what you can see in that map there. All of those areas shaded in pink, as well as the areas that say Brentwood and North Brentwood, are eligible to participate in this program. And the purpose is to, engage these areas and alleviate those localized flooding problems that are experienced by the property owners. So we are providing free landscape upgrades, and we'll go into which ones are included. But the county is very interested in determining whether the low-cost solutions can help minimize those common flooding issues. And these include things such as water pooling in yards, seeping in basements, and a lot of the common, problems that these community members have faced. So why is this work important? A lot of the time we associate flooding just with areas that are adjacent to rivers and streams, but as we've all personally probably experienced, urban areas are just as susceptible to flooding, and especially in densely populated areas where there's more land is covered by the buildings and roads and streets and other hardscape and impervious areas. It's hard for the rainwater to be able to drain, and that ends up just having a lot of pooling and flooding, and that's what we're trying to alleviate. So this nuisance flooding blitz is intended to just help the homeowners address those issues by improving the soils, improving grading, strategic landscaping, and incorporating those low impact solutions. And so which landscapes are eligible? Those who are familiar with the Rain Check Rebate Program, because it is similar to it, you'll be familiar with some of these practices. They include rain gardens, pavement removal, tree plantings, cisterns, including smart cisterns, downspout disconnects, and conservation landscaping. And so all of these are great ways to alleviate the flooding, also helps beautify neighborhood and help, the community just be able to function and also just look beautiful. So how much money does this cost? What are the commitments? Like we said, this is fully funded from the Prince George's County Stewardship Grant Program. So any consultation, design, and installation services are fully funded, and it will be at no cost to the property owner. And this is until the program closes and or funding runs out. So it is limited time. We will be looking at interest forms, first come, first served. So we hope that people will get into that quickly and we can get some people participating. Selected participants for the nuisance flooding blitz will be required to sign a property owner agreement. This is just to help answer your questions. It also gives us the right of access to perform this work. And also they will be responsible for the long-term maintenance. And those are the only requirements there. However, we will make sure by the end of the project they have the resources that they need to feel confident to do the maintenance here, and we'll have different outreach events and activities and materials that will help them understand what goes into maintaining these. So who is eligible for this? Like I said before, anyone in that map within the drainage area, that's the pink shaded area there. This includes Any residential property owners and commercial property owners are also eligible for this. So really just any property that's within that area. The map is a bit small, and on the URL link that we provide, you can blow it up, but we also have a app that we made specially for this project, which I will go into later, and you can type your address in and it will let you know whether you are within that area as well. I will also mention that if you are a tenant or just a resident but not a property owner, your landlord or the property owner must be the one to submit the interest form on your behalf in order to be considered for selection. So just something to keep in mind, but you can also still participate in all of the meetings and be just as involved. Special consideration will also be given to residents with those high impact properties where a landscape upgrade could greatly benefit the community on a larger scale. So those are some things that we'll be looking for as we go over the interest forms, and we just want to make sure it can make as big of an impact as possible, while also providing, residents who want to participate with information and resources as well. So how does it work? This is a 3-step process. Firstly, and I think it actually is, the one right before. The property owner will fill out an interest form, and once that's done, it just asks a few questions. You'll see some screenshots, screen grabs from the application, just asking, if you've had any water issues that you've experienced, other just ways that we can contact you is really what's on the interest form. And then once that's done, you can participate in a virtual site visit or an in-person site visit. And for the virtual site visit, we'll just be doing a desktop analysis of your site. We'll have that opportunity to provide you with recommendations without actually having to come out, just to make it easier and more accessible to everyone. And then if, after that virtual site visit, we see that it's a good fit, we would come in person and meet you in person and inspect the property in person and just verify the information that we did online. Secondly is step number 2. So this is where we will evaluate your form for eligibility. So a consultant will then review that interest form, again, taking into consideration any of the information from the desktop analysis. We will just see if you're a good fit. There may be cases where not all properties are, gonna be a great area for some of these landscape upgrades, in which case you wouldn't be selected, but we would still want to take the time, talk to you, see what the issues are, and see if you would be eligible. And if you are not eligible, the app that we have also provides different incentives that you may be of interest to you, so there might be something else that would be a better fit for your property. And then lastly, if you're selected, approved consultants or a contractor will assist you with the entire project. Again, we're trying to streamline this to make it as simple as possible for the homeowners. So we will be providing the design plans, the site construction inspections. We will be providing maintenance training and resources, as well as a final post-installation site visit. And that's where we can answer any last questions and just make sure, before we step away, everyone feels prepared to do that long-term maintenance and they're happy with the final design. So what is the RAIN Plan platform? So this is both web and mobile app. These are some screenshots from our mobile app. So there's a QR code and the link at the end of this presentation, but once you go onto the site, you would simply type in your address in that top area, and that's specifically for the Nuanced Flooding Blitz. It will let you know if you are within that shaded that shaded pink drainage area and/or Brentwood or North Brentwood. On this slide, you can also browse all of the project overview page. That's going to have all of the details that we're talking about today, as well as other FAQs and other information that might be of interest. So once you type in your address, you will go to the interest form, and this is where you will just fill out some very simple information, name, contact information that's preferred, language preference. We are going to have someone who is providing these visits in English and Spanish. And then also if there are specific landscape upgrades you're interested in, as well as any water issues that you've experienced. And that's just for us to get a little bit of background before we meet with you. And just make sure that we have the information we need to start this process. So once we do that, You would submit your interest form, and you will be taken to the next slide where you can do a virtual site visit. And so there's just a little calendar, and again, this is optional. You could, if you prefer not to do in person, if you prefer not to do a virtual site visit, we can do an in-person one as well. But this just allows you to, you know, get all of your questions answered and just meet with someone and get kind of a, you know, the gist of this project and what is possible on your property before we come out. So that's really the process of this. Who is overseeing the newest flooding blitz? Just so you're familiar with the different partners and people involved here. The Low Impact Development Center, we are a local 501c3 organization located in Beltsville, Maryland, and we will be overseeing the blitz. The LID Center is a certified county-based small business, and we focus on sustainable, resilient storm management approaches. We are also partnering with Rain Plan. They are the ones who are housing the app for us and have made this special app for the residents here, as well as the Anacostia Watershed Society, who will be helping us with our outreach efforts. So you will be seeing a lot of them as well. If you have any questions, we do have a special email. It is brentwoodblitz@lidcenter.org. And anyone who has questions is free to email us there. And we also direct you to the URL here, where you can visit app.myrainplan.com/BrentwoodBlitz. And that will have the project details, the interest form, and all this information we're discussing and more. And there's also a QR code that you can scan, which will take you right to that site as well. Thank you all. If you have any questions, we're happy to answer anything.
So to manage expectations, because I know residents will hear free upgrades and immediately like put this in. Are we talking months, half a year?
So because this is the first rollout, you know, we are learning as we go, and we'll take a few to just kind of get a real timeline that's realistic. But for now, we're expecting about 2 to 4 months is our timeline for now, and we'll adjust as needed.
Excellent.
Anyone? I have a handful of questions, but I know I can also reach out to you later. So you mentioned that the flyer will be printed in Spanish, but will the app also be in Spanish?
Yes.
Because it's, right, okay, it will.
So the app actually has, I believe the mobile as well, but it works with if you use Google, you can translate it and it will give you a translate, but we will also have a Spanish-speaking person who can do the virtual site visit and who would come for in-person site visits as well.
Okay. When you talk about the high impact area, I notice on the map that Mount Rainier is included, but your focus is really Brentwood and North Brentwood. Are you considering prioritizing applications in that regard? Because I noticed you're prioritizing by high impact spread or size, but I think the folks who would really need the free support are going to be located in North Brentwood and Brentwood. Are you going to be sorting through applications in that way?
Yeah, I think during the virtual site visits as well, those are information that we'll be taking note of, and we will try to make sure that we're giving this opportunity to those who could really benefit from it the most. We do include areas in Mount Rainier and others because, you know, some of their areas are really leading to it, and so by having those landscape upgrades in those areas will help, you know, their downstream neighbors as well. So
I thought I heard, though, that it's a first come, first serve application process. And then after all, you reach a limit of applications, then you'll conduct the site visits. And so at that time, you'll start prioritizing. But in order to get people the most needed, we have to be able to get them in filling out the applications more sooner than some of the other areas that might not experience the income challenges and who really are seeking this free service.
Yeah, and that's something too with the Anacostia Watershed Society. When we're doing outreach, we'll really try to target those areas and make sure that we're able to get those signups and keep note of those as well. As the applications come in, those would be high priority areas. So we would want to, you know, give them that opportunity first as well.
think it's
If you
important
could
that
come to
as-
the microphone so the
Oh,
folks
sorry.
online can hear you, Mary. Thank
Sure.
you.
I think it's important to note that we're using the term landscape upgrade in a very loose manner. This is about land cover change. That's what this is about. Impervious creates runoff from the property. A naturalized piece of land or trees or rain gardens absorbs it and keeps it there. That's why Mount Rainier, parts of it will be considered, but I can't emphasize enough, this is why it's called the Brentwood and North Brentwood Blitz project. And so the emphasis is in this community, but from a modeling perspective, the reality is when the water backflows in your community, it's come from Mount Rainier, and it's come from other parts. And so that's acknowledging it, and part of this is educating. I live in Mount Rainier. I know my house drains here. I know it does. And then the other part goes down to Dooling Creek. And so even though this is about educating upstream, and we have the ability to consider the pilot to do something like even do a cost share because of the financial, but we just haven't, that's why we call it a pilot. We want to hear what we didn't do right, we want to hear what we can do better, and how to improve things. And I can't emphasize again, they will be prioritizing the homes in this area, but from a flood resiliency standpoint, it does start in the upper areas. But that said, we start down below, then we try to find a way to work with everybody in the headwaters, and that will go in tandem with modeling that we'll have to show. Because I think if people understood that this is the contribution to down here, I think that you'll have more action in the headwaters that's contributing.
As far as removing pavement, will you also be replacing the pavement, not just with native rain gardens, but also with permeable pavement? Is that an option?
It would eat
No.
up the budget. And,
Okay.
and that's what we have found from the rain check rebate is we have a lot of permeable paving and rain barrels. And that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for something that's going to beautify the neighborhood, provide habitat, and provide a sense of space using nature-based solutions. In the future, we may provide permeable, but it would just eat the budget alive.
As far as the project plan goes, do you have other plan for community engagement and education outreach, for instance, with the town staff to talk to public works departments, code enforcement officers, around what some of these are that you're going to be rolling out to neighbors so that they're aware of the codes are being met and that they're also able to support this outreach? And what other kind of outreach activities do you have? I heard you mention Anacostia Watershed Society, and I know that they reached out to us and they'll be at our town events, but outside of that, I mean, there's a lot of door-to-door, walking door-to-door and speaking Spanish to talk to residents. Do you have a project plan that you could share with us to show us what kind of activities you're planning so we can partner together as a town with you?
Yeah, that's a great question. So yes, Anacostia Watershed Society is helping us with our outreach efforts, and we are currently, we did have a staff member who had left, so we have just replaced them and gotten them up to speed now. So we are, kind of rolling out as quickly as we can those outreach efforts, and happy to discuss with anyone who, can point us in the right direction as well to make sure we have, if we need to go door to door, we have materials for those. Just again, piggybacking off of some of the events that are already currently happening, being, showing our face there, and just trying to get, the word out to who we need to get it to as soon as possible. So happy to discuss this outside of this as well so we can get that rolling.
Last question. I'm sorry, Mayor.
We only have 10 minutes, Councilmember.
Last question. Are town properties able to apply, or is it only residential?
Yeah, commercial property, town
Not
properties.
town properties. The county will work with you separately through other, we'll partner. If you have properties that you're interested in stormwater management and doing it, talk to me. We'll partner on some grants and things like that because those are bigger picture items. This is for residents.
Residents
It-
and not
commercial-
businesses?
It
Okay.
can be,
Come
but
back.
it can be commercial, but more than likely, the scope of what would need to occur on a commercial property would involve the county to help support it through a larger portion of money. Does that make sense? Because the scope of work is greater. So the way that we've done this is that we want, when they get a lead from a commercial that's really serious, or something, then they're going to say, hey, Mary, reach out to them, and then we'll start to find a way to support them. So does that make sense? So this is really about the residents, and it's about the commercial, but when you get those particular people that want to make a difference, tell us. We'll find a way to work with you.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for the time. And I hope this is a follow-up also, our informational session that we can group.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great night. All right, so I'm just going to, after that presentation, we're gonna move to the agenda items. And we are going to start with the Public Works equipment repairs. So basically, this is a bill that we have for 18. It's a huge bill, but I really want to make comments about this. It's like it's becoming a pattern that we are approving or getting consensus on already expend. It's right here. It is, yeah, you do. It's a detailed paper. Yeah, we all have it because I saw it early. I just had it because I make a note.
It's okay, I have a copy from somebody.
Yeah, something like this. It's a form.
No, they just made it.
Okay. So, and Shelley can attest on this. It's becoming a pattern that every little expenditure adds up. So every time they go and do like $200 here, $1,800 there, but they hit in the same account, adds up, and now we have a bill of $1,829. So, and that is supposed to be, before even paying this, has to come to council for approval. So I guess at this point, because I'm not sure if this been paid, Mr. Gaston? No? So we need to have at least a consensus now to, the work haven't been done. So, and I guess that's the problem, like, because if you know that this is gonna be becoming, and you need to do repairs, and you need to do all the things because this is in the budget, but you're supposed to come to the council before any expenditure, because I mean, at this point, services has been completed, now we have to pay the bill. So, and I don't even know which line item it is supposed to be coming from.
Are you voting on this?
No, we're not voting, but I guess this is gonna go to the consensus, otherwise we have to wait until this 16 to make the payments when we have already received services.
Sorry, this is for the Public Works Department there? Is the Public
Yes.
Works Department representative or
That would be-
supervisor? That's
that would
you?
be me.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions? We are preparing to get ready for our spring and summer season. So a lot of the equipment had never been updated, repaired, and things of that nature. So that's what these expenditures for. Saws, the lawnmowers, blowers, you name it. And so the Public Works Department wanted to be prepared and be ready to do the maintenance without having items to break down.
So, Mr. Gaston, before the previous regular meeting, did you know about this?
I
That
didn't know-
the equipment needed to be
I knew
repaired?
the equipment needed to be repaired. We didn't realize it was going to be so costly. We thought it wasn't going to be that costly. But once they got into it, you have to keep in mind a lot of our equipment hasn't been updated in years.
No, I do understand
Yeah.
that, but my concern is that, we are actually approving, and this is, for the public up there, we approving bills after. And it will be a better practice if you can come to us before, and we can, I don't know, if we're gonna hit that line item, you will come and request the council to give you an amount,
And
not
so-
to exceed or whatever motion we have to do in order to do any expenditure.
And that's a good point. The only issue is that if we do it that way, it'll be over a month before the work actually gets done. However, I'm more than willing to do it the way where we figure out what the quote is, and then come back to you, and then we will get it approved I would say the regular way, but get it approved. And unfortunately, if something is not working, we're happy, we'll have to sit until it gets fixed.
Well, I mean, in the past, it has been the thing that there's emergencies that,
Mhm.
you know, you email or you request me for, and I will have to call the council and to give me a consensus to spend over my $500 threshold. But, you know, coming here, it doesn't look good for the residents up there that we actually approving monies after we have expended.
And that's a good point, and like I said, what we'll do is we will get the quote first, and then we will go back to the council. As I stated, the equipment that has been updated was in dire need of being updated or replaced, and so this was the solution. We just didn't realize it was going to cost the amount that it is.
Mr. Gaston, just a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have, and I thought we did have one at one point, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but do we have a maintenance schedule?
We,
Because these are maintenance items, right, not, emergency repairs?
No, these are maintenance items. We did not have a maintenance schedule. Most of the time, one of our other staff members would try to fix it until it totally was a point where it needed to be replaced. But now once these have been repaired, we will then have a maintenance schedule, and so the schedule will be more, it'll be on a schedule as opposed to last minute, which is what all this was a lot of last minute stuff,
Okay.
as we were prepping for spring and summer.
Yeah, so I would encourage you to maybe get with the foreman also to discuss a maintenance schedule.
Will do.
I mean, because maintenance schedules have shown to, you know, increase the life expectancy of equipment and
Correct.
things of that nature. And not just these, you know, small equipment, but vehicles and things of that nature. I know the police has a maintenance schedule for their vehicles, and so if we don't have one for Public Works, maybe they can share it.
No, you're exactly right. Remember, keep in mind, our lead is new, and so he is just getting his hands into the nuances of the Public Works Department, and he is trying to bring it up to the 24th century, the 22nd century, if you will.
Got it.
So it's
Okay.
a lot of work, so we will make sure that it is on a maintenance schedule moving forward. So in essence, he's sort of starting over.
Which line item do you know, Shelley, this is gonna be coming from?
It's going to be 57125. I'll take it from there.
571.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, that's the correct account for it to be charged to. There's not enough there to cover it, but,
See, that's my concern, because you going to present the line item transfer in the next meeting, and then if we will have to go back and review at the end if we have any other
Additional
additional
adjustments.
So can you repeat that line item, please?
5-71, I think it was 7125. Yeah, 7125.
Okay, so Larry, this is gonna be in the consensus, if everybody agrees to go in there. Yeah. This, how much is this? 1829.72. All right, that's that. The next item, and this is another question for the national, yes.
So maybe a dual question for the treasurer and town administrator. Can we, I agree with the point about the projection on maintenance costs. Now that we're doing the budget right now, can we just get a quick assessment of what further maintenance is needed for the old equipment, and then make sure that the budget matches what's needed?
I would have to have a conversation with the lead and get back to you on that, because he, like as I stated, he's still assessing our equipment situation. These were needed immediately for the spring and summer, maintenance for grass, things of that nature. So all of those items, the saws, that's what these were needed for. And then I will have a conversation with him about all the other items he will need for our 2025 budget.
So, because in case that these are the same repairs we do for the same equipment next year, we didn't have enough money in the budget. So we will have to increase that number.
Correct.
Right, so I would go and do some research and come back with a recommendation on that line item in the budget at our next workshop.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Gaston, this is a question for the NLC. The membership is for the town, or
Yes.
this is for you?
Yeah, I
itself?
don't know why it's by itself as far as it says town administrator, but this is for the town, and the dues, as a matter of fact, if Mr. Carl can pull up the screen.
I have it for 924.
Yeah, it's right,
I
this is
just
for the
wanna,
town.
okay, so
Oh,
that's the
yeah.
towns, cause I think they base their, fee
Or
in
your resident size.
size, yes.
Yes, your population.
Okay,
So it's based on population. And this year, they're celebrating 100 years,
mm-hmm,
and the conference will be in Tampa Bay. Yes, November 10th and 14th.
alright, so,
Does that sound about right? Yeah.
well, again, do we have a deadline to make this payment, or
Well-
can be this, can be added to the next meeting agenda, or to the consensus?
I don't think there's any mad rush, because we don't have.
Yeah, we are expired, that's what.
Yeah, we are expired,
Okay.
but the.
So if you all agree, we can pay this now, but still add it to the consensus agenda.
Because what I was going to say is we just did that March
Mhm.
conference. We don't have another NLC meeting for a
Until-
while, so
yeah.
we might be. I hate to use the term default, but we could be in default for right
So
now.
do we pay every year?
Yes, this is an annual fee. It's just like MML,
Oh,
the annual dues.
So.
The difference is that the three of us are on the real committee,
Mhm.
so they are expecting us. So I think they have a summer conference, if not
Mhm,
my mistaken. So we would definitely want to pay prior to that meeting,
that
or any other meetings that you have in NLC. You don't want to go in there and not be a member in good standing.
All right.
And yeah,
Well, part of it too is just to have that conversation. I don't think we have this conversation every year, whether we want to continue with. I think the value is there.
No, the value is there. It's
Yeah.
maybe added into the training, something that the town is not like,
Built into
council members, the town is participating. Because it's not just the conference, it's also the workshops they offer that anybody can join their website
Correct.
and take those workshops.
Yeah, because
That-
at minimum, we can always attend the even if we don't do the traveling one, because I know there's the fall one is always somewhere different. DC is always right there. for us
Right
to go
there.
to and get a lot of good
And
information.
anyone, could be, go and represent the town. Because it's not a minimum of people that can attend to the workshops, so.
but they do ask if with some of those workshops they want to know if you're a member in good standing. If you're not, then there's a fee
They-
involved. So I don't know if you have anything upcoming, but I would say that we could hold off until the next meeting.
I
Just-
mean, it can go into the consensus.
Okay, I just want to let you know, and I don't, is there another NLC meeting this summer? I don't think so.
We haven't received anything.
Right, but nothing till November, right?
We were talking about it, whether we're required for NLC Real to, but we haven't received anything. So
Yeah, I
don't
didn't
think
see anything either, so that's what I was asking. I don't think there's anything again until November, but I could be wrong.
Okay, all right. All right, next item. Okay, so, Mr. Gaston, training.
Yes. The NFPPA conference, this is their annual conference that's being held in Baltimore. I have already reduced, I did the early bird registration for the nominal fee, then the next fee was the hotel, but I've taken out a couple of those days. So the fee that was initially presented, you can half that because I'm not staying the entire time.
Okay, so you asking for 715 plus?
I think that's the total though. If I'm,
715 is the total
yeah,
amount?
I think so, yes, because it's the registration.
What's the registration?
It was like under $500, and then the hotel room for 4 days. But I'm only going to stay for 2 days. Is that right?
Okay, but my question is, because I have 715 in one, and I also have 747.30 in the other one. That's like 14.
Oh, okay. So I apologize. So yes, there must have been some extra fees. The early bird special was supposed to be under 500. There must have been some extra fees I was not aware of. So that was the registration fee. Then the next fee was the hotel. The hotel has been halved because I'm only staying 2 days. I'm staying Thursday and Friday night.
So do you know the amount?
It's half or whatever that.
Half of the 747.
Yes, ma'am.
Again, that's
373.65.
and that what would be the line item? Because then we have to do transfer to that line item as well. It's 373.65.
It will be 51185, General Gov, Conventions and Conference.
I'm sorry, 5-.
51185. It's
Is
General Gov.
this
Convention
a
and
conference that you're gonna be taking every year, Mr. Gaston? The reason I'm asking is because I know we already had that line item.
Yes, ma'am.
squeezed. We
Yes,
actually had to
ma'am.
transfer money. So, and then, because from that same line item, I think your MML conference comes out too.
MMLs are different.
Oh, it's different?
Mhm.
Okay. Alright, so it's 1,088 with 65. So the first three, line items, they are going to the consensus
Yes, ma'am.
for next meeting. Any questions? Here none? Okay. Anacostia Trail, we have to talk about membership too?
Yes, membership dues, if I may, are $957, and this is in, per 25 cent per residence based on the 2020 census. And this is from the Anacostia Trails Heritage Incorporated, and I'm going to defer to Councilmember Roque on the,
Oh, I just saw that.
Anacostia Trails Heritage. Defer as far as
I got
the
it.
benefit of being a member.
I believe that there is benefit in being a member. I have yet to attend a governance board meeting, but I know the organization very well, and I imagine, while I can't say it for certain, I'm pretty sure that we will get that 957 back because we will be asking them for rocket grants.
Mhm.
So you will be asking them in the future for signage for Wyndham. the
I
Wyndham
think that's
Historic
an
Park.
annual, we had it as
It
an
is.
annual.
We've been a member
yeah.
for,
Mhm.
yeah.
For quite some time.
So let's do it again. It's gonna be a good year for Heritage.
And you also partner with them in a number of your
Mhm.
events, is that correct?
Yeah.
We will, we have not yet, but.
Oh, am I mixing that up with the other one?
Yes, with the
Okay.
Anacostia Watershed
There you
Society,
go.
probably.
So I apologize.
But this would, no, that's okay. This would be for, we will be doing work with them for the Wyndham Road Park, and hopefully some art murals in the future, and who knows what else. Yeah,
Mhm.
thank you for including this in the
Yeah,
meeting
no,
today.
the clarity helps out, because I thought, I was thinking it was, so that helps.
No,
So
but I
many
think this
acronyms.
is annual fee that we pay, so.
But it might help for the people at home watching, sitting on the edge of their seats, to learn what APA is, so, you know.
Mhm.
And I repeat, it's 25 cents per resident based on the most recent census, which was 2020.
Excellent.
And that's
All
where
right.
the $957 comes from.
So one more that goes into the consensus, Mr. Moran. All right, this is, has brought to us for the police department need, computers, and then it's my understanding that Peak is the, ones that service this computer, so is that,
Well, no, these are council members' laptops.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, these are the council members' laptops.
Oh, because I was expecting in the, police too.
I have not heard back from them. Did you submit it? I think they might have mixed them up, so, okay, we'll get that for you for the next meeting. Just remind me.
New computers for the town council.
Yes. You want me?
I got mine already. and
You want
it's
me,
working
would you
fine.
like me to? So currently, the current council is utilizing old and antiquated laptops. And what we'd like to do is, this is the quote for the upgrade. And I don't want to say, but a couple of our council members are using their personals because the council laptops are so old. So what we'd like to do is to use the funds to purchase new laptops for the council.
Well, I
I
will
would
say
like a
this, that
clarification.
if the attorney will be here, he will say, well, if you're using your personal computer.
Oh, no, this
and
was,
something
this was
goes-
for Zoom. This is so they could watch Zoom. That's what that was
Yeah.
Where I
for.
take notes.
Yeah, no, they just,
Okay.
no, nothing legislative.
Well,
Just Zoom.
No, I do not do work on my personal
No,
computer.
no.
But I would like to add on to that, just for residents who are listening and are thinking, oh, well, I can't afford a new computer. Why do you guys get to buy new computers? It's not just because they're old, it's because they do not work. And we have meetings with interested partners to try to gain us more funding for the town that we distribute back to residents. We have meetings with other towns to learn about better ways to serve residents. And I can't speak for everybody, but my work laptop unfortunately does not work. period.
And specifically Zoom, because the data that you need
Not
to.
even just Zoom.
Yeah, well, I was picking-
Opening the computer itself and trying to access email on it.
that's
It-
same
It
with
does
me.
not work.
Yes, ma'am.
So
That's
I don't know if any other council members have any stories to share, but it is not just throwing some money around, getting new flashy computers, but it is actually serving a really critical purpose.
Just so you know, that this is gonna be the second time that the council will have computers.
So,
Or
Mr. Gaskin,
Ma'am,
I'm looking at the quote, and so my question is,
No, I didn't wanna.
Microsoft, I mean, I see it has the Windows platform, but that's different from the Microsoft products, so.
I think it's
So
okay.
Microsoft, whatever antivirus software.
Correct. It'll
Yada,
be-
yada, yada, that's gonna all be additional
It's one of the
costs.
reasons that we want to sole source through, because that all comes with it.
Well, okay, so
Because you get the
I don't
license.
see it in the quote, that's why I'm
Understood,
asking, I'm
understood.
asking the question. Because if it's an additional cost, that's gonna actually drive this number up.
I concur with you. In today's market, what you do is when you buy the laptop, you buy the license to go with it. Back in the day, you used to have to buy the products. Now you don't have to, because all they have to do is a download for upgrades and things of that nature. So it's already included in the price.
Microsoft,
Yes, ma'am.
but they don't mention it in here. That's what I'm saying. It's
It,
not mentioned here, and
Okay.
I would think that they would mention it.
I
That's-
can
it's
ask, but like
important.
it's, no, I can ask, but you haven't had any problems with yours, is that correct? And you had all the products come with you, my Outlook and all the Microsoft products?
Well, they set it up.
Right.
The only thing I don't have is, PDF. So,
But that's different.
yeah.
Yeah, that's different. That's Adobe. That's different.
Right, so, okay, so let me say it another way.
Okay.
If we move forward with these laptops,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're gonna get a bill from Peak, which is the actual product, the
Correct.
laptops.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like we're gonna get another bill from Peak.
Well, as of right now, we have not received any additional bills for the
Okay.
mayor's laptop for any extra services or product.
Okay.
What I did was order duplicate for laptops for the other council members.
But will you be able to double check? Because.
Yeah, I can double check. I have no problem double
I just got a
checking.
new laptop, so that doesn't mean that
Okay.
they're not
Or
gonna.
maybe
Yeah, no, I
they
can-
Later.
transfer licenses, maybe they can transfer
Correct,
licenses.
right. So when you deal with a company like Peak, as opposed to, let's say, you go into a Staples, you would have to buy all that because it comes with it. But Peak, they already have those products and they just load them onto the new laptop. However, I will check tomorrow to make sure.
Okay.
Okay?
I just wanna be sure.
And that's
Yeah.
fine. I trust but verify.
And Chief, I'm waiting for you quote.
And I will get his quote. Yep, I will
Yeah,
get
we
his
just
quote.
haven't received it, we're still waiting for people.
Yeah.
Mr. Gaston will be able
Yeah,
to.
I'll work with him. We'll follow up with him on where they are on it. Because if I remember correctly, you didn't need them till next year, or did you want them immediately? I think that was a big difference. You want them as soon as possible. Okay. So we'll work with the chief and get him his quotes. His quote.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Any other question on regards to computer? No? Yes?
Not a question, but just a quick comment. Same thought to the small engine repairs is, can we just get a sense of like all the laptops and the maintenance schedule for those? Because usually, like I tell my clients, you should plan for every 3 to 5 years to replace your laptops. So as long as we got a projected budget
Mhm.
in there, I'm fine with it. I just want to see that number.
So if I remember correctly, when's the last time before you had the one you have now, what was that, 2016, 2017?
2016.
2016. It's 2024.
Oh, I know mine is well past 5 years.
Exactly.
I agree. But just all of them, like our
Yeah.
laptops, all devices, the
Correct.
police, as long as there's a game plan in place, it makes it a lot easier for us to
I concur with you.
get something.
So it's generally, the thought process is 3 to 5 years, depending on usage, how much you deal with them. So it's 3 to 5 years. Believe it or not, you guys have exceeded that by 3 years. So if the last time you
Mine just didn't want to work.
And
So-
does everybody want laptops as opposed to like a Surface Pro? Surface Pros are really nice. I mean, I actually prefer a Surface Pro over a laptop. But
If it's the same price, I'll take a Surface Pro.
yeah,
I mean, if I'm-
Exactly.
I'm
Trying to
If
figure
it's
it out.
an Apple
I only
product,
know
I will know what you're talking
laptop.
about.
it's
no,
it's
it's much,
PC's answer to Apple, basically. Like,
So what is it?
it's just a very thin
an
laptop.
iPad?
It looks like an iPad, but it can clip to a laptop and detach, and has a touch screen. So
So you'd have to still get a laptop to clip it to use it.
most of them they come with a case. The bundle I got one personally, so it just came with the case.
I'll figure out whatever's cost effective for the town and using our resources wisely, we'll be able to figure out how to use it.
yeah.
All right. So this is coming back.
Wait, so no or yes?
Yes,
Oh.
it's coming back because you need to find
Okay.
out about the fees and then.
I got you. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. All right, next, Climate Action Plan Advisory Committee for the Brentwood Cup.
This is gonna be super duper quick.
Please.
Yes, I know. I've already had a lot of climate tonight. Thank you for entertaining us with the climate that is going to save our neighborhood and North Brentwood from flooding and stormwaters. Anyway, so as you guys know, we're working with MNCPPC on the flooding and stormwater assessment with North Brentwood, and we already had that kickoff. Vice Mayor and Town Administrator came with us. That was a great walk around town, and now they're ready to kick off the climate action plan. And so we're gonna have a kickoff with the contractors on the 22nd of April. If anybody is interested in coming to that meeting discussion, I would like to see if Mr. Gaston is interested in coming to that, and anybody from the council, any other staff. We'll be touring again the town and looking at areas to discuss, what the history is, predicting the future for climate. So as I think Ms. Abe mentioned, it's not that we're late on climate action, but we gotta hurry up and take action. So also in addition, they request to speak to stakeholders, residents, businesses, interested folks, and gather qualitative data that way. And so we will be morphing our existing committees, and if anybody on the Public Works Committee, or the Events Committee, or the Cable Committee, or the Senior Society, or anybody else in our town activities, Brentwood Business Network, would be interested in joining the Climate Action Plan Advisory Committee, we would welcome you. I will naturally include the Green Team, the Tree Committee, and the Brentwood Native Plant Network, but anybody else is welcome to participate, and you will get information in the future about opportunities. So the first one is April 22nd from 1 to 4:30. We'll be doing that tour, and I'm happy to forward that to anybody on the council and the staff. So just let me know if you'd like to be included. That's it for that one. Thanks.
Thank you. Any questions? None? Next. Right. Letter of opposition to the SB 0557. So, this bill has been read. It has been referred to the committee, and they already had the third reading, and still in the works. I don't know if you have read this proposed legislation about reducing the assistance to voters. So it is a concerning bill, because that limits the assistance, especially for those with disabilities, with people that need assistance with language access. So, and the and the part that I'm so concerned about is that there is a history behind. And I just going to I did talk to Vice Mayor about this before, but the concern is that there's a motive behind this bill. It's not everybody knows that I ran for a Senate seat in 2022. So during the early voting days, there was a confrontation between the candidate, in this case, Senator Agustin, and the person that I was assisting, a few of our residents in Brentwood. And I can actually, because I talked to them and I got permission, because a lot of the people that they were being helped were residents that need assistance, elderly. He agrees, like Mr. Vedrano. We had other person from 37 that he's handicapped. We have several seniors that they were coming, and then they were coming from Brentwood, actually. And the person driving or assisting at that time was my husband. So there was a confrontation that day between the senator and my husband, arguing about why he was helping people, why he was getting into the voting place. So apparently he didn't know there is a waiver from the Board of Election that if somebody requests help, anyone can help the person. And they sign it, and you can go inside with them, not telling them what or who to vote for, but or you can assist, like if they don't know how to read or write, you are entitled to read the names, and they decide who they're gonna vote for. So that is basically, and I want to, personally, as a former candidate and as the mayor now, I'm opposed to this because, there's a lot, especially in District 47, when 53% of the population is Latino, that impact a lot of the Latino voters. And for me, in my way of reading all the history of this country, that is voting suppression, because you're not allowing. And if you read that bill, at least the summary says that that it has to be related to you in order to assist. And I don't think that's fair. So, and that's why I'm asking to the council to support me on this, because I'm telling you, I can put names in there, and we can attest that that's what happened and impacted our own residents. So, and that was back. I was just looking at the dates that I was probably either July 10 or 11, 2022. That's when that happened, and we had a witness of what happened and what transpired that day when we were trying to assist residents. So, and I can't wait to go but because what happened with the incident in Baltimore, I missed the opportunity to go and testify to the committee. So I know that you have to sign up on time to be able to go there, but at least if we can send a letter, and for sure, I going to start talking about this in the news channels soon, because I don't think that is fair, and nothing can, you don't make laws just because, affects you, or you think that something didn't work out for you, or whatever the reason is, but that's not the way. So that's why I'm asking support to get this opposition letter. And don't get me wrong, I mean, I really appreciate the fact that he has been helping, but you know, that's something that is against the immigrant or the people that has or they require assistance. Anyone?
I'll start the discussion with some rambling observations. Because I have thought about this a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm really not sure where I'm landing on it, even up to this second. You know, so I have sort of your testimony, and I have the testimony that I heard at the committee hearings from Councilmember Fisher and Senator Augustine. And from what I can tell, perhaps there is responsibility to be shared on both sides. So what I'm left with at this point is just the bill, and whether I think this bill is fair, impartial, and balanced. And part of me feels like this bill clarifies what the spirit of the bill was in the first place, which was that no one with an agenda is allowed to assist other people in marking their ballot. And that was clear from the beginning before this bill was introduced. And it seems as if perhaps it's difficult to sometimes separate one's passion for a candidate with the responsibility of impartially helping somebody mark their ballot. And so I think this bill addresses that sort of disparity, if you will. However, I think the parameters are not exacting enough. I'm concerned because if someone can only help an unrelated person or 3 unrelated people, is that within 1 day, 1 election cycle? And I know that there are volunteers that sometimes help people mark ballots. And does that mean that after they help 3 unrelated people, they're done for the rest of that election cycle? That seems like it would be unfair to the people who need help. So I'm just saying, for me, there's no clear right or wrong. And I'm considering, for the first time ever, abstaining from voting on this measure because I can't fall on either one side.
I just want to clarify one point, is that when I said assistant, nobody was marking that people, but because what you said is like they do have volunteers inside, okay, to walk them through the little box. That person wasn't going into that. He wasn't allowed to go to that point. Someone has to, you know, like if we're gonna translate, and they're gonna say this is the need that this person has. And from there, that volunteer will take him or her to the box. So it wasn't like that person was going or assisting or reading. No, it was taken to the volunteer that it was already inside. And there was not a bilingual person. Of course, that person was translating. This is the person. So that's misleading too, because that's not what happened, because it wasn't allowed. And if we go back and read what the waiver said, I was trying to look at the waiver, what it says. It doesn't say anything other than, you know, trying to take the person, walking through inside. But then again, inside, they have other people that are providing, you know, the information, the car or whatever. So those are the ones that actually go to the machine and tell them what to do. So that's why I said, you know, it's a lot of misinformation, and I know that it's so many things in there, but again, limiting how you're going to not assist somebody if you don't have enough. What if the challenge that they have right now, they don't have enough bilingual people to work in the polls? So someone is volunteering and signing, and that's a legal document that you're signing, that you're not acting on behalf of this person. It's just assisting that person to get in there. So it's not violating any law. And that was stated by the state board member that was there during the election.
And it was stated to the senator as well. You read this is what the law says.
If I may, Mayor, in discussion with you, I appreciate that you brought it up, and I was able to as well go and look at the videos of the hearing, both hearings. And in the second hearing, for me also what is interesting is I was looking for who were the advocates for the bill or against the bill. And in the second hearing with Ways and Means, the ACLU from Maryland, who I hold in regard to these kinds of legal matters, did have a representative speaking against this bill. And I did find it concerning that the assisting more than 3 unrelated voters was an arbitrarily selected number. There wasn't any research behind why it was 3, or at least at the time of the hearing, there was no substantive description of why that number was selected. I also felt concerned that the, I can't remember what his title is, but for the State Board of Elections, the gentleman representing the State Board of Elections also didn't have very much to say around his participation in drafting the bill, and it felt a little confusing. So the ACLU brought up the fact that the limit of 3 voters and also the language of the bill would impede on the voting process, which I think in this country we are trying to make the voting process less difficult, especially for people of color and different communities to reach voting and to be able to access that. And that the current law, the ACLU also mentioned that the current law is already substantive enough and doesn't need this additional language because it directs the voter with the information of how they can ask for and get that assistance, whether they have mobility issues, ability issues, language issues, etc., that they are privy to ask for that help. And the ACLU also mentioned in their testimony that that there is a process if you're seeing, and we should all be encouraging people, if you see election interference or election issues, that you immediately call the state attorney. You immediately call that office, and that is the process for resolving these kinds of issues. So I appreciate that you shared this bill with me, and I appreciate the I imagine that the senator and our council representative, our county council representative, are trying to come from a good place, but I think it's an issue that is beyond policy, and it's outside of the lanes of policy, or at least the current bill as it's written. And I think that I would encourage, them to go back and revise what their intent was with the bill, and maybe do some research around, is this happening in other counties in Maryland? Why does it need to be a state law? Is it something the county needs to focus on instead if it's happening all across Prince George's? If it's happening in one location, maybe that's where, the state's attorney general needs to be contacted and come and take a look and do some investigation. But if it's not happening across the state, I'm not sure why there might need to be a statewide bill for it. So I think I feel like there's a lack of research and a lack of data-driven decision-making around this policy. And so for me personally, I'm not in favor of it as it stands right now. Thanks.
Did the bill cross over?
It did.
And right now it's still in the
Ways and Means.
Ways and Means. Yeah, so that's sort of similar to where I landed, was that I was trying to figure out what, which I couldn't find yet. It was like the number of cases. Huh? Go ahead.
It's been referred to committee.
It has been referred. So
It has been referred to committee. First reading, referral to committee. Second reading, third reading, first reading, referral to committee. That's where it is right
switched
now.
over to the other committee, though. It started in Education, Energy, and the Environment.
That's
and
correct.
It had its hearing in the
Right.
Ways and Means. So
Correct.
we have
So-
missed the opportunity to submit formal testimony, but it still hasn't been voted out of committee yet.
Right. So we technically, yes, for the verbal testimony, but you can still submit it for record if you would like to. And then it's always, you can always contact the chairs of the committees too and talk with them about it, or the sponsors of the bill. And I think that's like the one critical piece of information I feel like I didn't have, which is there a high number of reported cases? And I just didn't see that information provided yet to help me get clarity on it. Because otherwise, I agree. I think if it's not something that is happening to the level that what you're like, we got to do something about it, then I have nothing to sort of base it off of. It just feels like I don't have really a good compass on it. So at least for tonight, I still feel like I needed to do more research on where I would fall on this. And I wanted to actually reach out to ACLU and actually reach out to the sponsors of the bill. This we can just kind of get a sense of like, hey, what information can you share that's could help us better understand where this is coming from. But
If I may, I would suggest that you watch the testimonies and the hearings at the committees for both of the committees. In the second hearing at Ways and Means, it was very clear, at least to me, and watching the testimony from both from the author of the bill and the support person who was from the county there, that there was a specific person that was drawing a lot of concern, and he cited more or less a person. So I think there's some information you can gather from the videos, but of course, I would be interested as well in talking to them further about what is, behind the bill language, but I think it was pretty clear.
All right. Anyone else? So, I guess it's my understanding that you're not supporting this letter.
I do, I'm sorry to interrupt and to go back. I do have one more question. Mayor, do you know if other other municipalities in the county are also aware of this and are writing letters? Do you know where that is at with other, because if this is a county issue and we have, many multiple municipalities with people who need help, assistance to vote, do you know if they're aware of this or sending any letters?
No, and these are, there's a lot of bills that goes on, and this is the bill that was kind of like quietly just slipping through, and then thanks to, Delegate Taveras and Delegate Peña Melik, we find out about it because we have our monthly meetings, and then we go over all the bills that impact the Latino community in one way or other. So that's how we were able to find out. Otherwise, we wouldn't even know, because they serve different communities too.
can this come back to the next week? That's what I'm asking. Just to clear my stances.
I don't know about the timing because I know the session in Annapolis ends by I think April 15. I think it is.
Where's that? What's that?
The Annapolis session.
The end of the session is actually April 8th.
See?
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's April 8th.
That's right.
The session ends on April 8th.
Yeah.
But this particular bill still has a second reading, a third reading, a review and original. It's still got a ways to go. It's got a couple more stops.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4 stops before it goes to the governor.
Right. We can always
Well,
come back. And I get it. I understand. Branco doesn't want to get a position, especially is our senator. But I feel responsible for representing the people that are actually, will be impacted by this bill.
Well, part of it, is so.
If it's already hard to get, minorities to go out and vote, imagine when you start putting limitations in.
Yeah. So look, but the way I would approach it is the same way we do with PGCMA is, what are some items that we would feel comfortable trying to do to make this bill better? And so that's where a lot of my questions are rooted. It's like, hey, can we go to them and talk to them? Like, hey, some of this feels arbitrary, or is there any way to amend it? Because this is where the opportunity is when they do crossover. Each chamber is talking and trying to figure out what they can do to make the bill better. So I guess my question is, like, is there anything we can do to tweak this bill in your opinion, that would fix the concern? And I'll leverage Vice Mayor's point about the number 3. And the time. So if that was fixed, would that address your concerns? Or for you, is it just flat out, I don't want any parts of this bill?
I feel with all the already things that existed, we don't need anything else. And then I will agree with Councilmember Rao. If there's other counties that have gone through the same thing and they argue in favor, like yes, we noticed that it happened, but only because it happened to you, or you feel like somebody's doing something to you that doesn't. That's a motive to do a state bill. I don't know. That's my concern.
No.
So what else can we do? I mean, we've been talking about this racial equity, and then we're talking about voting rights, and then we come up with this. So, I mean, for me, being a foreigner, I don't understand, because it's already hard to go through the process and finally get to the point that you are eligible to vote. Right. And then once you get there after 20 years or 25 years, then you're going to have all these other things that will stop you from doing it, because you have, you need assistance, or you don't understand the guidelines. So that's the only concern, especially in this district that 53% of the population is Latino. And you know that we have the numbers. It's just that they don't go to vote because they not enough information. There was a lot of things that happened during that election. Election board in Prince George's County failed. There was no bilingual people serving. There were a lot of things, that happened that it was unusual for regular other election, like the amount of days that they were on early voting, and a lot of things, transpired during that year.
And one of the other things that the ACLU mentioned was that in response to the author's testimony explaining that when the author had concern and brought it to the election judge who was there at the time, that the election judge said, well, we don't have a law that tells us somebody can't do this action. And the ACLU actually came back and said there are laws, and maybe one of the ways this bill could be better is by emphasizing election judge training, and also focusing on making sure that there are bilingual election judges, and that there are, focusing in that area instead of
that election judge actually has to bring out one of the forms, the waiver form, and she read it out loud right there, what it says or doesn't say, and there was nothing unlawful, because she stated there. Again, well, I guess I had to follow up with other organizations too and see what, but again, there were not a lot of people that knew about this bill.
Yeah, well, organize my thoughts. So keep looking at my phone, I'm like, it's the second.
Yeah.
So it's the second, and it's basically a week away from end of session, and you're looking for consensus. Can we start with, do you have a draft letter that you could put in front of us? And I'm always cautious about making a very split-second decision on something that's very important. I'm also not in the business of making voting harder for people. So I would like the opportunity to at least express concerns about the bill and write those down. And I'll take I'll look at the ACLU one, but I think a strong letter could emphasize where we could see improvements that are needed to some of the points you all were saying, and also the clarity where it's needed. And like I said, I know for me, the first thing tomorrow is just reaching out to some of the folks and just see like, hey, what's going on with this bill? And where some of those, the concerns are, and any data to back it up. But that's where I'm thinking as far as our order of operations. I know it's a work session, so it's a little, usually we're looking for consensus, but it's hard for me to do consensus around something that's not right in front of me written out. So I'm trying to like form what I'm hearing out of everybody is that not quite sure where you want to land on it. I know that's where I'm at on some things, but I know I don't want to make voting harder for people, especially people of color. And I know I have some concerns about where's the data and can you show me where this is happening in the county or in multiple counties? You know, can we strengthen it to, you know, to the point you were saying, can we strengthen and echo some of the things that ACLU were saying? And I'll try and see if they have the letter available. They usually post the witness list as well as the testimonies, just to take a look at the ACLU testimony for talking points, and that may help as well. But I just need at least 24 hours to do that, and then we can communicate. I know we have a meeting next week, which doesn't do us any good, does it? Yeah, that's the 9th.
I mean, at this point, since we already discussed it in an open meeting, you can send emails.
Okay.
So it's nothing that we're hiding.
All right.
And then which is, during the regular meeting, we can read that what was the result, whether we oppose or we just let it be.
So Councilmember Monroe, I'd be happy to share with you some draft language for a letter of opposition for you to take a look at.
Okay, that'll help. That'll be helpful. I can look at that tonight.
All right. Moving to the next. 10th Annual Arbor Day event.
I'm sorry, are we tabling that item or?
We discussing, so we just were waiting to see if I get any other council member in favor.
Gotcha. So tabled.
Yes.
Well, and then
Thank you.
Councilmember Taylor too. I'm like, now
Yeah.
you're standing in the chair. I forgot. We should.
Reach out.
Has she?
No,
spoke
I
with her?
haven't.
Okay.
I haven't talked to him. 10th Annual Arbor Day is on the 20th event?
This is the event on the 27th.
27th, yes.
So
April 27th.
we're having a tree planting and a native plant swap, and we have received the Tree City USA, according to Mr. Gaston, our 10-year Tree City USA, and so we wanted to see if Mayor, if you had any interest in, yes, exactly, saying anything at the event, or do you want to?
It is my 10th anniversary.
So it's up to you, but you just
Yeah.
wanted to put it out there.
And I'll
that-
be back by then, so
Okay,
I'm happy to, yeah.
Feel free to come on down and look
I
at
think
this.
we have to
got
do-
some stickers. We got a whole plan on how to, Mr. Gaston has a whole plan on how to replace the 9 years.
Yeah. That's a
And
nice.
if it's my understanding, I have not been on council
So-
for 10 years, but it's my understanding that Mr. Gaston has helped dig through information and shepherd the town of Brentwood to being a Tree City USA, along with the mayor's enthusiasm about that. But you guys have been shepherding this for the past couple of
Yeah.
years and digging out information historically, and the vice mayor's been planting trees left and right in
Yeah.
Pocket Park and
Don't go
Councilmember-
spreading rumors about me now.
He's gonna come to your house and plant trees. No, just kidding. Councilmember Monroe is also a big tree supporter, so is Councilmember Taylor and everybody in the room.
So, we don't have timing, so what time is that gonna be?
It's from 10 to 12,
10 to
and
12.
it's a Saturday.
Yes.
And we
And-
will also have games in the park. There's gonna be some gigantic Jenga and some cornhole toss, I think. So it's gonna be fun. And we've
Yes.
also already requested from the town to rent the gazebo.
So
Gazebo?
the winner will get a native plant or something like that?
Probably. That's
Or a
probably
tree?
the fun stuff we're giving out that day. Or something recycled or repurposed.
Oh, yes, that's
Yes,
true.
of course.
All right, do we need any funding for that? What do we need to get refreshments? What do we need for that day?
Well, you're gonna make it a thing.
A celebration. How are you gonna celebrate without
Maybe-
iced tea?
If I may, the town has 7 Tree City USA, so I've ordered 7 of these stickers. to be displayed. 4 of them already have been.
Mm-hmm.
Entry on 38th Street from the north side to south side, US Route 1 from the west side and the east side. Those have already been taken care of. We just need the other 5 to be put up, and Public Works will be putting up as soon as they arrive. So once again,
And that can be one of the activities, like just
Oh, that's true.
go
That's
around
fun.
and group and put the stickers up.
I see Mr. Gaston's eyes lighting up like, I don't know, because Mr. Gaston's very precise in the beauty of the town, and so he might want to be the one adding.
no,
the
I would
stickers,
never want to put any of our residents in harm's way as to dealing with the streets.
crossing
So,
with the streets.
yeah,
Yeah.
since Public Works is insured, no, I'm kidding. But that's up to you. No, however you want to do it. However you want to do it.
So, I think we're gonna have a proclamation for that day,
Yes,
and,
we actually have 2 for the second half of the month.
but, yes.
Yes, we have
next
Arbor
month.
Day and Earth Day.
Mhm.
Earth Day. And if
So-
I may, Mayor, you need to also start thinking about Kids in the Park Day, which is
Wait,
May.
I
don't
think it
change the
is, it
subject.
is, it is,
Hang on,
it
hang
is.
on, please.
Am I changing subject? I'm sorry.
No,
Didn't mean to do
you
that.
are,
Don't
yep.
change the subject.
I didn't mean
Yeah, we
to.
gotta finalize this one and then we'll move on. So, sure, I could work with maybe the events committee on figuring out refreshments, or no, would just go and buy some stuff? How much do I get to spend? Up to $500?
Yeah.
It's a lot of snacks.
It's gonna be a lot of repurposed snacks. No.
Repurpose snacks.
No.
Just kidding. Okay,
Oh,
yeah?
I'll talk to my committee.
You'll talk to your committee about refreshments? Okay, so yeah, it's on you?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks, Mayor. Excellent. Okay, sorry, Mr. Gaston, go ahead.
No, I wanted to raise, since we're talking about parks, that May 18th, I realize it's a ways away, but I wanted you to put it on your radar screen. May 18th is Kids in the Park Day.
I thought was, yeah, May, yes.
May, right,
I'll
right.
be around, yes, like, I was like, what?
No,
It is in my
I
calendar.
realize it's a while
Yeah.
away,
Yeah,
but I
no,
want
it
you to.
is in my calendar.
Okay, yeah, and start thinking about what you want to do.
Ice cream, that's it?
Yeah, it works for me.
Can we do something more healthy than ice cream? I'm sorry to be like the old fuddy-duddy and giving out granola bars and apples, but
To the kids.
I think the whole purpose of like Kids at the Park Day is in large part to promote like health and wellness. And I'm
Bananas
not saying ice cream
and
is
bananas and apples it is.
Fruit bars.
fruit bars.
Well, they're kind of like for little kids. A lot of the kids that come, they don't want, those are for the parents, not for the kids.
You know, one time I ran out of candy on Halloween and I started handing out granola bars and apples, and my house got egged the next year. I'm not lying. In Brentwood. Yeah, true story.
Okay.
All right, we'll scratch that idea. It's been a long day for council.
Maybe, you know what, the fruit bars.
No, you know what we could do is give the ice cream out, but then in the nature, you gotta do things. You gotta run up and down, you gotta climb a tree, you gotta.
I mean, but
work
when it
off.
comes to ice cream, doesn't have to be just the cream things. Can be like fruit bars,
Popsicles.
popsicles.
Okay,
So,
then I'll feel better.
yeah.
Thanks, Mayor.
That's
You
boring
could
kind of-
always do a nature
Yeah,
walk.
and then the ice cream truck guy will win because all the line will be on the other side.
Ma'am, if
So,
I may,
no.
you could always do a nature walk with the green team and the tree team. No?
No, remember, we talked about this. That day is also Mount Rainier Day, and they are meeting at the Nature Center for their Mount Rainier Day, so.
Yeah.
I think the competition is gonna be tough. We
Right.
might just wanna encourage people to go there, stop by
Yeah.
here, by our park, and walk
But
through
I-
the parks on the way there, but, I mean,
If you want to move.
I'm gonna be there, so.
Well, usually it's in the afternoon, like 4 to 5. So it's like when they, I see that the families come to the park in the afternoon. They're not gonna be here at 11 when nobody's here.
So on their way
So
back from
the
Mount
way back, they
Rainier,
can just get
some more ice cream. All right.
If you have enough sugars. Yes. All right. So we said next item. Oh my God, Window Road Barrier Memorial and Park. What is this?
That's just a quick update on the different activities that are going on around that to share with residents. Did you want to say anything about that? So we have two different groups running. One is on planning the Wyndham Road Memorial unveiling for the memorial site, the art unveiling, and that'll be on Juneteenth. And I believe the mayor that you are reaching out to certain speakers to see if they can make it for that date so that we can have an honored guest speaking. And we're coordinating also in order to get to that point with North Brentwood, coordinating the actual infrastructure that's being built for the towns, the tree trenches, permeable pavement, and other kinds of infrastructure that's being constructed. And so I did send to you individually the request for proposals for at least the town of Brentwood side. Our infrastructure project, we have already engaged with, we received the Prince George's County Stormwater Grant, and with that money, we are funding and have already engaged with EcoSite LLC as our contractor for engineering plans. But we also shared the RFP with Mr. Attorney Deloach, who has been in communication with Mr. Gaston and has said that he's reviewing the RFP and has a few edits that will get back to us by.
Actually, he has in essence approved the RFP. His comments were more grammatical, if you will, 4 or 5, and they should be fixable tomorrow if I'm able to catch up with him, because he's on the bench tomorrow. So as soon as he sends me those updates, we'll be able, but in essence, the RFP has been approved. He just wants to make sure that we correct 4 grammatical errors. I want to call them errors, just change
Typos.
typos. And so as soon as I hear from him and get those changed, I will forward them over to Councilmember Rauch, and
Thank
she can
you.
move forward with that project.
And so I just need to announce the RFP with council, and you all need to say, yes, I've looked at the RFP and it's good to go. So do I have consensus on the RFP for the Wyndham Road Historic Barrier Prince George's County Stormwater Grant to move forward?
Yes.
Yes.
Great, wonderful. And then we will have a meeting with the Chesapeake Bay Trust, who's the facilitator of the county stormwater grant with us. We'll have a kickoff meeting this coming Friday in the afternoon to share with them what our plan is to install the 2 tree trenches and make the, it's my bedtime, and make the, change the pavement out for permeable pavers. We'll have that kickoff meeting then, and then we'll issue the RFP, and we'll work with North Brentwood to get the construction bids back. And then I'll bring that to the council as well with all the bids to decide which construction company should support both the towns. And then we'll meet again with Chesapeake Bay Trust and the county for the stormwater grant funding. They want a pre-construction meeting to just make sure everybody's on the same page. And then we should get started probably in May on construction and hopefully be done by the Juneteenth event on the 29th. And I believe that Councilmember Monroe, you're also planning to go take a look at the art towards the later part of April, I think.
Yeah, it's going to have an opportunity to tour and see, get a sneak peek. So unfortunately, we can't share photos, but we'll let everybody know. So.
Right, so that's the update. Thanks.
Excellent, thank you. Right, my last item in the agenda is the International Code Council, ICC training for code enforcement, and I've been looking, Ms. Aguilar sent me the information about the courses, so it's a total of $9.95 per person, but it's a whole year training, like they have to go and attend a different, and a lot of those are online, so it's not like they have to go in person, but this is the schedule, I don't know if you want me to send the schedule. So I have a 995. Shelley, do we have money in the training?
5-3080, employee training for code.
5 dash, what?
3080.
If I may,
Uh-huh.
can you look, I thought we already approved that funding for the ICC training because this was before she went on her maternity leave. It was in the previous year's budget. And then she went on maternity leave, and then she.
But that wouldn't have any
That
bearing
wa-
on
thi- is this
FY24
year.
budget.
It's still the same
Okay,
fiscal
I
year.
just,
Yeah.
because she never finished it from the previous year. Because she, like I said, she went on maternity leave. So I think you may just want to check to see if some of those funds have already been allocated, just to check.
Do we need to pay money? Or you
We
saying
did.
It's already paid for.
That's what I'm saying, it's already been paid for. That's,
So why is it on the agenda?
No,
I,
no, it hasn't been. Check out the line item. It hasn't
Yeah.
been.
okay, okay.
I spoke with,
I'll make sure we won't pay for it.
Yeah, that's all I'm concerned about.
yeah, but I don't think has been paid because she has not taken the training.
Okay.
She probably went to a class, but not the whole, because they have to have a certification. So in order to get the certification and the test, the whole training is $995 per person.
Would we not include Mr. Hawkins as well, or?
No, that's what I said.
Oh,
it's
okay,
for
okay, gotcha.
times 2.
Right.
But I don't know how much money we have left in that line item, or if we need to put monies for the new code enforcement. So they both get certified. 5-3080.
No, we definitely haven't paid for it.
Yeah. No, because I talked to Ms. Aguilar, and she stated that it was mentioned.
It
But-
was, and then she went
Yes,
on.
and then she.
Then she went on.
when-
the training,
yeah.
And I thought we'd already allocated.
Yeah,
the
no,
funds.
because I remember she left before July. And then,
Mhm.
so, and the new fiscal year started on July 1st, so it's not, she never took it.
Okay.
So, but at this point, we need 2, so they can start training on the next class. It's May 1st. And it's talk about legal aspect of code enforcement. It's talking about introduction to code, property maintenance and housing inspector, legal matters, permit technician. So it's a lot of different sessions. So, and finally they get the accreditation or certification for the academy.
And they don't get this at they don't.
No, they only briefly talked about it, but not, they don't get the
Yeah,
certification.
this is the international code.
Code,
Council.
Yeah,
Mhm.
county. It's different.
council, so it's different. So, we have a consensus, can this go in the consensus, or you want to go back and add it to the regular council meeting, so you guys can vote?
We can go to consensus.
Okay.
Consensus seems fine.
Huh?
Yeah. Consensus seems fine.
Consensus? No, no, so it's going to the consensus. It's going to the consensus item, so we can pay for both.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I'm sorry, one last thing, Mayor, if I might, backing up to the Wyndham Road Berry Memorial and Park. Mr. Gaston shared with me this very lovely letter from our District 47 representatives and this wonderful citation in honor of us winning the Chesapeake Bay Trust Award for Wyndham Road. They all provided letters of support, and so we have this beautiful certificate attesting how wonderful our work is in this area.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
That's our newsletter piece. Anything else for the good of the order of this
For
meeting?
today?
Here none. Any comments? Public comments? No. Okay, so I guess this is time to adjourn the council, the work session of mayor and council at 9:07 p.m. Everybody good?
Yep.
Say aye.
So moved, aye.
And good night.
Good night, Brentwood.
No, I said what I said.